Acts 17 and 24. For those of you searching for the real church, you want to filter out the BS, what's the fake church, and one of the strategies you can take what you learn from school, a process of elimination, and you go through that, through the scriptures. What is the fake church? This is Acts 17 verse 24. God that made the world. We know who God is, the Heavenly Father, God who made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Dwelleth not in temples made with hands. So basically, His Spirit does not dwell in temples made with hands. And you can go through the list of the Christian church, the Baptist, the Catholic, the Norman, 7 Days Advantage, the Muslim, and so on and so on. His Spirit does not dwell in temples made with hands. So there's two different types of spirit. The good and evil, we make it a balance, the good and evil. If the Lord's Spirit is not in there and you sense another spirit, so guess what spirit them people worshiping? They worshiping Satan. So, going through the process of elimination, move on with the next scripture. In total, I'm going to bring out 5 chapters. And this is in the book of John 2, verse 21. But He spoke of the temple of His body. So it was not actually talking about a physical temple, you built with concrete and wood. It was talking about His body. He was speaking in codes, the same way, so-called blacks, Latinos speaking codes in the hood. This is Matthew 7 verse 13. Enter ye into the straight gate, for wide is the gate. For wide is the gate, represent all these religious churches, because there's so much. It's millions of Christian, Baptist, Muslim, Catholics. That's why I said, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. It's the population of religions is wide. It's millions and millions and millions. That's why it says, enter ye into the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. There's a reason for that. And many there be which go in thereat. Verse 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, and narrow is the way. That small group, because the church of the Most High, the Father and Son, is real small. The Lord is not dealing with a large amount of people. So that's how you able to process of elimination. Narrow is the way, and it's hard to stay in that straight line. It's easy to follow a large amount of people. And let's jump for a second to Exodus to link up what I said. Exodus 23 verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Because in the world they say it's power in number. The Lord is dealing with a small amount of people. That's why at the end of the day, a small percentage that's going to get delivered out of here. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. That's why going back in Matthew, it says, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Because there's millions of these religious churches. That's why in this verse, in Exodus 23 verse 2, thou shalt not follow a multitude, a large amount of people, millions of people like the world is doing, to do evil. Whatever against the law, statute, commandments, that is evil. Neither thou shalt speak and cause to decline after many to wrestle with judgment. And how you spiritually wrestle with judgment. It's a spiritual warfare. You fighting against the law, statutes, commandments, whatever you're doing wrong, which is against the law. You wrestle with your mind to do what the right thing. And back at Matthew 7, verse 14, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life. Which leadeth unto life. So I let you know, narrow is the way. And what is life? Life is the Lord, the Father and Son. And few there be that find it. So it's a small percentage that's going to actually find it. Some might find it temporary and just lose it. But it's a blessing to keep it towards the end. Let me jump back to the book of Proverbs. And this is the last verse I'm going to bring out. Verse 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. The man that wandered out of the way of the understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And how do you figure it out? If they actually bring out, reading throughout the Bible about the history, and bring about the mark of the beast, about the heritage, about your enemy, and so on and so on. But the people in the churches don't even have the real name of the Father and Son. That's number one. They don't know their enemy. They don't know no biblical history. They have no knowledge of the Bible. That's why I said it's the congregation of the dead, because spiritually they are dead. Spiritually they are dead. That's why these elites make shows like The Walking Dead, making mockery of the majority, the masses of the people, because they are the walking dead. Their eyes wide open. Yeah, they walking around, wide eyes open, but they are spiritually dead.